Leave it to 2024 for a game like Helldivers 2, like the critically acclaimed, everyone loves it, perfect game, to now go to one of the most hated games on the internet as of lately. Things have been going down recently, and I want to talk about it. So hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody in between. Also, I want to apologize. I look horrendous right now. Pollen. Period. That's the story. But anyways, Helldivers 2 is getting into some trouble recently, and it all started with a post I saw on Twitter from the streamer Pirate Software. Some of you might know the guy. He's a really knowledgeable content creator when it comes to games and software, where he posted a tweet in response to a Helldivers update that just came out. And this Helldivers update, of course, was pushed on Twitter as well, but it's found mostly on Steam, where they talked about how Helldivers, the game that for months has been accessible to anyone on Steam and PlayStation, but not Xbox, which I play on. Isn't that fun? But they're releasing an update to essentially change that. And I'm going to give this a quick read, and then we'll talk about what it all means. So, hello, attention high divers. Okay. Hello, attention high divers. I just can't say words. It's the pollen. Attention Helldivers. Due to textual issues. Oh my god, I'm brain dead. Okay. At the launch of Helldivers 2, we're allowing the linked requirements for Steam accounts to a PlayStation Network account to be temporarily optional. That grace period will now expire. See details below in this post. So, this first paragraph is essentially saying, hey, when we first released the game, you could either play it on Steam or play it on PlayStation. You didn't need to have a PlayStation account to play it on Steam, and that's going to be changing. And they talk further about this in the post. Account linking plays a critical role in protecting our players and upholding the values of safety and security provided on PlayStation and PlayStation Studios games. This is our main way to protect players from griefing and abuse by enabling the banning of players that engage in that type of behavior. It also allows those players that have been banned the right to appeal. I'm mainly just impressed that I read that without messing up. But anyways, as of May 6th, all the new Helldivers 2 players on Steam will be required to connect their Steam account to a PlayStation Network account. Current players on Steam will start to see the mandatory login from May 30th and will be required to have a Steam account and a PlayStation Network account by June 4th. PlayStation Network accounts are free and easy to set up using this link, and there's the link right here. And then they said, we understand while this may be an inconvenience to some of you, this step will help us continue to build a community that you are all proud of to be a part of. Proud of to be a part of. Holy shit. I might be illiterate, guys. But regardless, this is an interesting update that I see where they're coming from. Essentially, they're trying to say that, hey, if everyone's on a PlayStation account, that way all the appeals and all the bans and all the moderation can go through one system instead of having to deal with Steam or PlayStation. They can just deal with PlayStation. And unsurprisingly enough, people are furious. People are absolutely popping a gasket over this news. And I'm going to admit, I'm not a Helldivers player. I don't know enough about this lore or how it would affect me personally, mainly because I'm stuck doing college all the time, which is so fun. But people are genuinely mad. I actually decided to join the Helldivers Discord server just to see what's going down in Helldivers Town, and people are pissed. The server is just a constant flow of messages and people being timed out because they're raging about all of this and sending copy pastas. There's been a lot of copy pastas, which actually some of them I'll be going over with you guys because they have some vital information that I didn't think was as important as it would be coming from just a random Discord user. One of the more common copy pastas I've seen is actually people trying to incorporate this into the lore. They're trying to claim that the automatons are taking over, the robots that they fight within the game are taking over Sony headquarters, and with one of the copy pastas being this one. New MO, Operation Overload. Bomb Steam reviews and make your voices heard. Helldivers, calling to this echo chamber is helping no one. Will not stand for this. Embrace ownership of the media you purchased. All Helldivers to the Steam review board. I repeat, all Helldivers to the Steam review board. And then talking about Pirate Software again is saying that you can get a Steam refund by telling Steam your access will be cut off. And so you can just refund the game if you think like it was an unfair or unjust decision made by the company who owns that game. And great heavens, yeah, there have been some negative reviews. I decided to take a visit to the Helldivers 2 Steam page and take a little scroll down south, and a lot of the reviews now are mostly negative, even though if you look at it, the most average is positive, because there are 300,000 positive reviews with a now growing list of 79,000 negative, which is crazy because I think like 10 minutes ago when I started making this video, it was at 75,000, so it's jumping like crazy. I actually saw you can click and show a graph. Look at that drop. They fell into the endless abyss of death and destruction. The site has fallen off. I actually decided to look through some of the negative reviews, and as I mentioned, people were making it part of the lore. The automatons have taken over Sony headquarters, and as a result, they've recently made a decision to actively reduce our numbers by requiring linking, sending military secrets with their PlayStation Network, Intel Collection Network, in order for our safety and security undemocratic, and making it mandatory unliberty-like. By May 6th, 2024. Super Earth time. Super Earth time. I thought it was in the future. What's the... I don't know the Helldivers lore. Someone yell Helldivers lore at me in the comments below. I'm actually curious. But there's also been other people kind of just commenting like, thanks for the ride. I'm not making a PlayStation account. It's been a good time. I actually saw one of the people talk in the server about how like I've gotten my fair share out of the game. Bought it for 40 bucks, got hundreds of hours of just free, open, happy gaming time. So I'm cool to just put it aside now if they're going to force me to make a new account on a new website. And I can understand the frustration of having months of no preparation for this and then just having it shoved down your throats. But the thing is, from my looking into this, and I'm going to just come at this with the most unbiased way possible because I'm not a part of this. Apparently, when you first open the game, like back when the game first came out up to the present day, they talk about how they prefer if you had a PlayStation account. They don't say it's required. And of course, that is a mistake on the game's part. They should have mentioned that it was eventually going to become required. But they do recommend it. And I think one of the big problems, and I think the like main justification for being mad about this, aside from having it just jumped on you and having your underwear pulled over your head like a bully in a middle school, is the fact that there are certain countries that can't even make PlayStation accounts. This isn't a global thing. I saw a copy pasta from the Discord user Aki that said, share this with everyone and make sure Sony knows. PSN is available in 69 countries around the world right now. I don't know where that period manifested there. There are roughly 190 independent countries in the world. So your one buddy who like owns an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean can't play Helldivers now. Like, damn it! But jokes aside, this is real. It continues because apparently the whole of Africa, Egypt, and even some European countries like Belarus can't even make PlayStation accounts. Like, it's just not allowed. So if your country isn't on the list, you get suspended. Like, you can't play Helldivers, you can't make an account. And I know people might be like, well, maybe PlayStation just doesn't operate in countries that have like 7 people in them. But the thing is, I just said the whole of Africa. There's a lot of people there, and also things like Belarus. I saw people commenting in the Helldivers Discord server like, hey, I live in blank and can't make a PlayStation account. Guess I'll die. Like, it is a lot of people who just genuinely are going to lose access purely because Sony just isn't a global company, which is shocking to me. I did not know that there are just, like, more countries that don't have access to PSN than countries that do. That's just so surprising to me. But one of the biggest things, and the thing that I think is the main reason a lot of people who know what's going on are uninstalling or refunding the game, aside from people who just do it for shock value, is Sony's, I guess, like, security issues. There's people who have been talking about how Sony has a ton of issues regarding data breaches, and I actually found a big, like, list of all the data breaches Sony has ever dealt with. Things like 2008, they lost a few million, 77 million Sony PlayStation Network users lost in 2011, another 25 million in 2011, 1 million in 2011 again, and then moving forward, we have more and more data breaches that go all the way up to the modern day, October 2023, which is only months ago. So a lot of people are just like, Sony, we don't trust you. Like putting our passwords into your accounts is like putting water into a bucket full of holes. It's just gonna fall right out again. You have the security clearance of Facebook, gaming Facebook. And so, actually, Facebook gaming is a real thing, but regardless, people have tried to refute this point by being like, guys, hacking happens all the damn time. I actually saw an article that people were referencing this one specifically where 77,000 Steam accounts are hacked and raided every single month. And yeah, looking at that title is shocking. That's like more than 4. That's a lot of goddamn accounts. But the thing is, context matters. I gave this article a read through and I've also seen other people talk about this topic as well. And one of the big differences between this and Sony is that this one isn't as much Steam's fault. It sort of is, but allow me to explain. See, while Sony's issues come with data breaches, Steam's issues primarily come from social experiments, if that's a good way to explain it. It's like when people DM you on Steam and are like, oh, your account has been hacked. Oh my god, bazinga. And you're like, what? Oh god, oh my god. Okay, what can I do to help? And they're like, okay, we're sending a code to your iOS. Just send it and we'll clear this up for you. And you're like, okay, and you send them the code. And then bam, you've been hacked because you're a goofball, a fiend, and a goober, because that's a hacker. The hero's been the villain all along, and it's very obvious. It's something that happens quite often, and it's one of the main reasons that I've seen hacking become so prevalent on Steam. Meanwhile, on Sony, it's just, as I said, putting water into a bucket full of holes. It's data breaches. It's the company not being secure enough. I was actually explaining this issue to my mom because that's someone I like to consult on topics that I discuss on YouTube, and she brought up an interesting point where something similar happened in the past. Sort of similar that happened in the past with TurboTax. I know it's a crazy boomer reference, but it's still a reference nonetheless, because TurboTax actually had an issue where they claimed that what they were doing was free and then would charge people at the very end, and it ended in a $141 million lawsuit, where essentially the whole issue is they lied. They lied and made it so people had to pay for something that they knew was going to be free, which is similar in this instance, where instead people are paying for something and then are having it taken away from them by means of something they can't control. Albeit like they don't want their data breached, or maybe that they're in a country that just isn't a part of Sony's global network. And this really sucks because I see the vision, right? I understand that what they're trying to do is just streamline the moderation process and make it so there aren't as many hackers in the game, because in the modern day, there are so many games with hacking issues to an insane degree, Call of Duty being one of the big ones. So they want to try and control that, but they didn't really do anything on the transparency front. They didn't communicate with their community. They did, but it just wasn't enough. Because if it was enough, people wouldn't be sidelined by this. People wouldn't be taken out of left field by this because they would have saw it coming. So I can see why people are so angry, and if anything, I empathize with them. But at the same time, I don't play Helldivers, so I guess I'm just going to have to sit over here. Plus, at the end of the day, data breaches happen everywhere. Like, I have an account on YouTube. I have an account on Facebook. I'm pretty sure my passwords are in every server in China, but it doesn't matter because this is about it for now. I assume more information is going to come out about this, and probably reasons why Sony's data isn't safe, or maybe reasons why people don't want to make PlayStation accounts, or just because people are lazy. It happens, and I also understand that. But for now, I'm going to be hitting the road. But of course, I want to hear your thoughts on this, because this is a crazy new issue, and I'm only covering this right as it's come out, so I might be missing some details. If you know anything that I didn't mention, let me know in the comments down below, and if you have any opinions on this, also let me know. Are you a Helldivers player? Are you mad about this? Are you not going to continue playing? Or do you think you're just going to make a PSN account and cope Malden Siege? Also, as I said earlier in the video, I do want to learn Helldivers lore, so if any of you are yappers and want to yap to me about Helldivers lore, do it in the comments. I will read it, and I'll give you a response. I'll heart it, even. But for now, I'm going to be getting out of here. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being outstanding. I'm going to go do an exam for chemistry now. Wish me luck. And as always, adios, arrivederci. Goodbye, good night, and this might be an RIP for Helldivers 2.